Hello, if you are not new here, just skip the next 20 seconds. I'm Haber-Goldstein. I am the author of Questioning the Answers, and this is my channel. So in my book, we discuss all kinds of questions that we have about Judaism and religion and our heritage, and we answer them and get to the core truth of all the things that kind of bug you and you're not really sure why we do it. This channel is really just an expansion of that. We get questions submitted, so if you have any, you can submit them and we'll answer them. And today we're talking about Sefira. So, hi to the people that skipped. After we left Mitzrayim on the first day of Pesach, on the second day we started counting. And we count all the days until we get to Shavuos when we receive the Torah. And every day we say today is day 1, today is day 2, and we get through 7 weeks. And this is how we have Shavuos. But now we have this idea of Sefiros, where Sefiros kind of gets thrown in. Each week is given an attribute. Each day is given a different way to understand the attribute. And it's all about the Sefiros, which is just kind of a little bit out of left field because we never talked about them before. And what do they have to do with counting the days until we get the Torah? So what are the Sefiros? Why are we using them to count our ways? And why not just use numbers? Let's understand it a little bit more. So I actually did go back to my book for an understanding of what the Sefiros are, because in the chapter about the creator, I asked and talked about whether the creator is male or female. And in my research into if we can call the creator a she or a he, I found by Ravari Kaplan and a few other people where they said, including the Rambam, where they said that it doesn't really matter if you say male or female because he's not really either. And there are Sefiros that are male and Sefiros that are female, so it could really go either way. So my obvious next question was, what are the Sefiros, right? So we have this idea, and this is a total tangent for a second, where we ask, why did God create the world? He created it to bestow goodness on people, and in order for him to bestow, there needs to be a connection. And how do we get that connection? Through common ground, right? So if you think of any friends that you have or anybody that you know, or what you do when you're trying to make friends, it's usually through a common ground. Either you have kids that are the same age, or you both have kids, or you work in the same field, or you are both from and you live in the same neighborhood. There's something that you have in common that is making you be friends with this person or have a relationship with this person. And the more you have in common with someone, the closer you are. We have this whole idea of trying to be like God in some way so that we can connect, and through that connection, we can receive the ultimate good, right? The Sefiros are God's way of teaching us about him so that we can use them to connect to him. So while we never will fully understand the infinite creator and the full picture of what the creator is because it's infinite and we are finite, we can understand different parts of it. So for example, we can understand that there is a part of God, a body part, a section, an attribute, a color, however you want to think of it, that is kindness. And if we can achieve ultimate kindness, then in that one way, we can be like God, and there our connection to God can be much stronger, right? So the Sefiros are kind of like these windows or bridges where we can understand a part of the creator, emulate it, and be like him, right? Now, why? Because that way we have good, that way we have connection, that way we can receive the ultimate good, and the organus, which is basically go back to the Garden of Eden, right? So let's bring it back to this time of the year. So we're counting to get the Torah, we're using the Sefiros, and we're using the Sefiros to learn who God is, become more like him, and receive the Torah. So it's kind of super clear, right? We have Pesach, we have Shavuos, we have these attributes that we work on. Every week we work on a different attribute, and eventually we're like God and we get the Torah. First of all, I had 2 questions. Why do we only learn about 7 of them? God gave us 10. There's only 7 weeks till Shavuos. And why do we spend, we don't count it week 1 is chesed, day 2 is still chesed, day 3 is still chesed. We use it the first week. We have 7 weeks, we have 7 attributes, and each week we take each attribute and we say, oh, how does it work with this attribute? How does it work with this attribute? So you're ending up each attribute doing 7 times as it relates to one of the other attributes. So kindness within kindness, kindness within restraint, kindness within eternity, kindness within beauty. And then you go to the second, restraint within kindness, restraint within, you end up doing it 49 times, right? So first let's answer why just the bottom 7 and not all 10, okay? By the way, it's a super hard topic to explain, and it's a very hard topic to grasp. I didn't fully grasp it, so if you have any questions, you can just put them in the comments, and either I'll answer them or I'll find somebody who can answer them. Okay, so on this tangent, we have 4 worlds, right? We have the world that we live in, which is the physical world, which is the Olam HaAsiya, which is the world of doing. And one world above that is basically the world of thinking, the world of ideas, the world of intellect, right? We have the world of creation, and we have the world, like we have these 4 worlds. If I understood it correctly, I'm not 100% sure that that was a perfect explanation of the 4 worlds. But the 7 bottom ones are the ones that are applicable to our world. And while a human being can access the 3 above us, the one that we're focusing on in order to receive the Torah are the bottom 7, because in order to get to the top 3, you have to master the bottom 7, and then we can work on the top 3. But this is more about receiving the Torah in the physical world. It's about being here. It's about bringing God's goodness into our world. So it's more about the bottom 7, which have to do with our world, the world of physicality, the world of doing. These 7 weeks where we work on these 7 attributes and these 7 kinds of ways that we can be like God, and we physically become better. We physically can make the world a better place. Now, how do we make sure that we really internalize what kindness is? Not just like, let's be kind for a day, but we really internalize, let's say, we really understand, not just that God is kind, but really understanding all the different ways God is kind. So then we take kindness and we put it in restraint. How can you be kind while having boundaries? How can you be kind and make it eternal? Right? So we have this chart, which I'm going to put up, where we see how anything we do, if we do it through these 7 attributes, it's perfection, right? So we have chesed, which is kindness. It has to be kind, but when we take the kindness and we combine it with boundaries, because kindness without boundaries is not necessarily a good thing. So we have kindness with boundaries, and then that together makes this complete perfection. And then the perfection has to be eternal, and it has to work together with beauty. It has to be eternal and beautiful. And then that gives us kind of like a great foundation and support to give it to the kingdom, which is Malchus, and make it, bring it to the world, make it something that the whole entire world can do and actually become. And then that attribute of God really came down into this world, and we really brought it into this world in the most amazing way. And anything we do, if we do it through those 7 attributes, it will be eternal, perfect throughout the world. It will really work. It will really last, and it will really change the world. So what we do is we take each one of these 7 attributes that God gifted us, through which we can make the world a better place, make us more like God, which will bring more goodness into the world. And He gave us even deeper how we can really make sure to internalize each one of those 7 by using the 7. It's crazy. It's wrapping around things. It's bringing it full circle, but it's really, really awesome. And we do it now because we're going from Mitzrayim, from the lowest of the low, to Shavuos, the highest of the high. And we do this every year because we're not always leaving Egypt, but we're always struggling with something. So we take whatever it is that we're struggling with, whatever low we've been in, and we use these 7 weeks, coincidentally, as the days are getting longer and the sun is coming out and the flowers are blooming, work our way out of it, and we get to Shavuos, right? That's the point of how we get from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high. And then when we're there, when we maxed it out, if we really worked on every single day, then we are able to receive the Torah in its absolute, perfect, complete way that it was supposed to be received. Now, I just want to say one more thing. Every single Jew receives the Torah on Shavuos. Whether you did the Sefiros, whether you did them halfway, whether you didn't do them at all, whether you don't even know it's Shavuos, every Jewish soul in the world receives the Torah. But if you take these 7 weeks and you really work on yourself to do each attribute through the other attributes and really internalize all 7, we should all be meriting this. We would be able to receive the Torah in its most amazing way that it was meant to be received. And I really give us all a bracha that we should merit to receive the Torah in the most complete way this year. And if you have any questions that you want to submit or questions on this video, put them in the comments and subscribe.